Is there anybody left who actually believes Lindsay Clancy is in fact guilty, but that she was under postpartum psychosis? Because I feel like I'm lost in the masses somewhere, of conspiracies and people trying to make things correlate and story build and story tell and come up with a story because it simply doesn't make sense. And it is so much easier to come up with a completely different storyline than just accept that she did in fact do this to her children. And I'm struggling with this because I'm listening to her lawyer and I'm listening to what he said, and everybody keeps saying you need to listen to his words, you need to listen to what his words mean, you need to be more invested in how he's wording it and how he's saying these things. And all I keep hearing is her lawyer repeatedly tell people that she knows she did it, and he even told the jury, we know she did this, and this woman is living in her own personal hell because she took the lives of her children. She is now paralyzed and she knows her fate rests essentially in your hands. What am I missing? I understand people are hearing this story and it is so hard to accept that she did this because we're finding empathy for her in this situation. And that is why I say that I do believe that she was suffering from postpartum depression, postpartum psychosis, maybe bipolar, maybe postpartum OCD, maybe hallucinations. I don't know, but I do believe that she was not mentally well or in her right mind. And I just feel like we're getting so far away from, what am I listening to her lawyer talk about every day then? I genuinely feel insane. And I feel like I'm not watching the same thing that everybody else is watching, because what is her lawyer doing then if he's trying to convince the jury, who is supposedly not supposed to be looking online at all of these theories? What is he doing to the jury every single day trying to explain her side and how he is trying to prove that she was insane? And that's the goal. I feel like we're losing sight of what like best case scenario is here, because so many people think like she's going to get off, like she's not going to be charged or something. And it's like, am I not understanding this correctly? I don't know, because I'm sitting here like, I thought the only two options really that have any backing behind them is she'll be guilty and she'll be criminally charged and she'll be put in jail, or she will be charged by reason of insanity. What? I'm just struggling because I feel like we're missing an opportunity to talk about a much bigger topic at hand, which is that women's health matters, and especially women's postpartum health matters. And this should be a bigger conversation on how we regulate that system even more and be more serious about this. And instead we're story building off of little like details and then running with it. I don't know. I am not going to be one to say that I don't hear the conspiracies and think, wow, like that is weird, or yeah, that. But I guess every single time I hear that, I come back to the same conclusion, which is none of this makes sense because it simply doesn't make sense. And every time that we keep trying to make sense of it, which is everybody's trying to say that Patrick is who's done it, every time that we keep trying to make sense of how this was strategically planned and thought out and all these different things, makes me feel like we're getting further away from the actual topic at hand. We're not in this court. Like, why are we doing a trial then? What is the fucking point? I genuinely, I don't understand. And it is really, really hard to listen to these videos because many people are very convincing, and majority of them have no background in literally any of these professions. They are simply seeing a puzzle piece and trying to make that puzzle piece wherever it fits their narrative. You keep pushing the narrative that Patrick is guilty. I'm not going to say that I don't think there's some weird shit going on, but at the same time, I'm also not going to ignore what her lawyer is preaching in that courtroom every day. I'm not going to ignore that she was expressing that she was having mental health issues. And in what world is that not possible to lead to this? Like, if you truly believe that she was struggling with postpartum depression, postpartum psychosis, then unfortunately, the outcome could very well be that she took the lives of her 3 children. I just want to know if there is anybody out there who still believes that she is guilty, but it is by reason of insanity because she was under a postpartum psychosis. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down in the comments.